Hello and welcome everyone. My name is Yazir and I'm your tutor for business environment. In today's lecture on business environment, the focus is on learning outcome 3. Today we will discuss, understand how the economic environment impacts on organization, which involves understanding how the economic environment impact on organizations. Is anyone there? Can you hear me? If anyone is there, please let me know if you can see my screen or if there is any issue. Okay, right. So, indicative contents, indicative contents for this lecture includes allocation of resources in economic system, effective use and distribution of resources, supply and demand dynamics, matching economic system to resources, for example, command, free enterprise, mixed transitional, examining the economic environment, including the size of the economic, like GDP or public finance, revenue, taxation, then impact of fiscal and monetary policy on business organizations, for example, influence on the size and nature of employment, implication for redundancy, then impact of competition policy on the chosen. Anyone is there? Hello, anyone is there? Hello. Okay. So, impact on competition policy on the chosen organizations, main aims and impact of competition policies, such as promoting competition in markets and pricing, improving market. Uh, then Office of Fair Trading Directorate, Journal of Competition, OFCAM, of what Civil Aviation Authority, Companies Act, and uh, and enterprise training and skills policies. Hi, Vanya, can you hear me now? Okay, so economic system. What is an economic system? A term economic system refers to a framework that is utilized by societies or government in order to organize and distribute resources, services, and goods with a particular geographical region or country. So it is a process that transition economics go through in order to transition from centrally planned economics to mixed or free market economic system. Can you hear me? Free market economics. Free market are characterized by the presence of trades between consumers and producers that are mutually advantageous to both parties. In an economy based on free market principles, the distribution of resources is determined by the interaction of free market forces. The customers have an impact on the decisions of what to produce. The producers decide how to make it, and the distribution of products is determined by the purchasing power of the consumers. At the core of free market economics is the concept of self interest as the driving force. Command economics in when we talk about command economics, scarce resources uh, are distributed by the government or an appointed agency through the process of central planning. Command economics are characterized by their central planning in order to accomplish particular goals such as the construction of new infrastructure. A government allocate resources, so command economics can be beneficial in terms of coordinating resources during times of crisis. So yet they may also necessitate intervention from the government in order to handle market that are not functioning properly. Any question? Can you see my screen? Can you hear me? Anyone? Okay. So communism, uh, the political ideology that places and emphasizes on the state powers of the means of production. Communism was influenced by the views of Karl Marx. You might heard about Karl Marx as well. Karl Marx had a premonition that capitalism would, uh, uh, you know, uh, capitalism uh, would eventually fail, and he argued that the true worth of economic activity resided not in wealth but in labor. So Marx predicted that there would be a reaction against capitalist masters in the event that workers become aware of their exploitation conditions. Mixed economics. Economics are characterized by the combination of market forces and central government, the private sector, in which the allocation of resources in predominantly determined by market forces, and the public sector, in which the distribution is determined by the government, may be present in these systems. Public and private providers frequently work together in certain industries, such as healthcare or to such as healthcare to provide services. So GDP versus GNP, gross national product and gross domestic products. Any idea about gross national product or gross domestic? Anybody can tell me? 1 year. Okay, so comparing gross domestic products with gross national products, gross domestic products is a measure of the value of a nation finished domestic goods and services on a particular time period. So the value of all finished goods and services that owned by residents of a country over a period of time is referred to as a gross national product to be calculated. So this is the value of a nation's finished domestic goods and services during a specific time period, and value of all finished goods and services owned by a country residents over a period of time. Uh, Public finances, revenue, ONC, and OBR, the total amount of money collected by the central government was 51 billions, with tax revenue accounting for 37.7 billion. So this is a decline of 7.5 billion when compared to the amount collected in August 2019. So the amount of money collected from the value added tax or VAT, corporation tax and income tax all experienced significant drops. Um, the COVID pandemic has had a significant impact on the borrowing of the public sector, with provisional estimates indicating that the public sector borrowed a total of 173.7 billion pounds in the first 5 months of the current fiscal year, April to August 2020. This is more than three times the amount that was borrowed in the previous fiscal year. Uh, Lockdown caused by the coronavirus had a substantial impact on the central government's tax receipts and national insurance contribution, which fell by 13.4% in the 5 months between April and August 2020. Okay, you can't hear me. Still, you can't hear me. Can you hear me now? Vanya. Vanya, I think so. There's a problem in your side because I've checked. Everything is going smooth from my side.
I can hear you now after rejoining the meeting.
Yeah, because problem is
Surprising.
your side, I think so. Okay.
Okay, yeah. Well, the sound is fine now.
Yeah. Can you hear me
Okay.
now?
Yes, yes. All
Oh,
good.
right. So, tax systems used for individuals. Uh, can you hear me now?
Yes, the sound is perfect.
Okay. And see my screen as well?
Yes, yes. I've been seeing it the whole
Because
time.
I double checked my side, so everything was fine. I think so. There is some could be technical issue in your side. So the
Maybe.
yeah, tax rates that apply to individuals who have a normal personal allowance of 12,500 or organized in bands, a tax rate of 0% in applied to incomes up to 5,000 500 that are covered by the personal allowance with a rate of 20%. The basic rates, uh, the basic rate, a rate of 0%, and personal allowance with a rate of 20%. The basic rate is to applicable to incomes that are fall between 12,500 to 50,000, and the higher rate on the other hand applies in income that fall between 50,000 and 150,000 at a rate of 40%. The finally additional rate is applied to income that exceed 150,000 at a rate of 45%. So the rate of corporation tax is determined by the amount of profit that firms make. The structure of the system is determined by the levels of profit that that the organization generates. Then what is inflation? Inflation. Have you got any idea about inflation? Any comments or any? So, according to the definition of inflation, inflation is the rate at which the value of a currency is decreasing, which result is in an overall increase in the prices of goods and services. So also there are three types of inflations: demand pull inflation, cost push inflation, and built-in inflation. So the term inflation can be defined as the persistent increase in the overall price level of goods and services in the economy, which ultimately leads to the devaluation of currency. This is the most straightforward explanation of inflation, which when 2021 rolled around, the rate of inflation in the United Kingdom was 1.2, and by 2020 it had risen to 1.69. Can you hear me? Yeah.
Yes, yes, I can hear you. The sound is good now.
I'll keep asking you, because if there is any issue, just let me know, okay?
I will, I will. Well, no need to keep asking me. I guess the previous attempts when I connected the meeting, maybe then something was wrong. Now it's perfectly fine. If anything, I'll send you a message to let you know.
Yeah, okay, okay, no problem.
Thank you.
So, balance of payments. One definition of country's balance of payment is the difference between the total amount of money that enters the country during a specific time period and the amount of money that leaves the country and is sent to the other countries across the world. So, how is balance of payment calculated? When a nation has a negative outflow of a cash, it is shown as a debt on the balances of payment. The balance of payments is calculated by adding the current account, the financial account, the capital account, and the balancing them keep track of the movement of income from one nation to another is the purpose of the current account. Explain how resources are allocated through economic system. In a free market economy, the allocation of resources occurs via the interaction of market forces that are both free and self-directed. They indicated that customers decide what to create, producers decide how to make it, and the purchasing power of consumers determines who gets the products. So, in other words, consumers decide what to produce within the framework of a command economy. Government exercises control over significant parts of economic output. So the means of productions are determined by the government, which also controls the industries that are responsible for producing commodities and services for the general population. Mixed economics may also contains a separate public sector, which is a sector in which the government is primarily responsible for allocating resources. Then free market economics, this type of economy, often known as a a fair economy, is characterized by governments allowing markets to function independently, allowing the market forces of supply and demand to determine the allocation of scarce resources. Every single object in the world is owned by private persons, and private individuals are the ones who make choice regarding the economy. So there is no involvement by the government. Basically, in practice, governments typically intervene by enacting laws and providing public services such as protecting property rights and ensuring national defense. So that Adam and Frederick Hayek were well-known economists who advocated for free markets. It is possible to apply Adam Smith's well-known theory of the invisible, hand of the market to free market economics and the prices mechanism, which defines the process by which prices are established by the spending votes of consumers and companies. Free market economics advantages. There are obviously few advantage and disadvantages. When we talk about advantages, it comes to free market economics. It is very probable that firms are efficient due to the fact that they are required to supply goods and services that are wanted by consumers. In addition to this, it is expected that they will reduce their average expenses and make more efficient use of limited resources. Consequently, the whole production of the economic reaches a higher level. It is possible to prevent the bureaucracy that arises from government actions and arguments that may be made by certain economists that the freedom that is obtained by having a free economy leads to an increase in personal freedom. Then there are some disadvantages. There is a tendency for the free market to reward those who own the majority of the wealth, since it's chooses to disregard inequalities. Individuals with low earnings are not eligible to receive benefits from social security. Possibilities, the existence of monopolies which have the potential to abuse the market by charging higher prices. So it is possible that there is an excessive consumption of commodities that are considered to be of low quality and have significant negative externalities, such as tobacco. The provision of public goods such as national defense is not possible in a free market environment. Also, education. uh, Education is one example of a merit good that is not adequately given. Okay, Vanya, any issue?
No, no issues from my side.
Okay, so just give me a second. Yeah, next is planned economy, the process by which the government distributes all of the limited resources in an economy to areas where they believes there is a a larger demand of than is known as allocation. So additionally, it is also referred to as central planned, according to Karl Marx. So Karl Marx, the free market tends to be unstable. According to his perspective, the gains that were generated in the free market were the result of exploitation of labor and the failure to compensate workers for the worth of their effort. The common ownership of the means of production was the position that he advocated for. The decision of what to create is based on the preferences of the government. So, the method of production is established by the government and it's personal. It is the government's preference to provide it for whoever it is appropriate. There are some advantages and disadvantages. Might be easier to coordinate resources in time of crisis. Government can compensate for market failure. Inequality in society could be reduced, and society might maximize welfare rather than the profit. Abuse monopoly power could be uh, uh, prevented. Then also there are some disadvantages. Government fail as do markets, and they may not be fully, uh, uh, you know, uh, they may not necessarily meet consumer preference. It limit democracy and personal freedom. Also, mixed economy, the particular economic system is the most prevalent one in the present day, exhibiting characteristics of both planned and free economics. In practices, there are a variety of balance. There are a variety of in practice, there are a variety of balances that may be found between planned economics and free economics. Uh, Basically, in the United Kingdom is regarded to be highly central, whereas the United States is slightly more free, despite the fact that the government spends around 35% of GDP, and Cuba is more centrally, planned. So there are two factors, you know, uh, there are two that exert influence over the market, the government, and the dynamics of supply and demand. Governments frequently provide public goods like street lights, roads, and the police, as well as merit goods like healthcare and education. So what to produce, it is decided by the desires of both consumers and the governments to what should be produced, how to produce. The manner in which it is produced is determined by the producers who desire to make profit, and the government, and for whom to produce is obviously considering the preference of the government and the purchasing powers of private citizen when deciding who should create it. Everything is okay, Vanya? Can you?
Yes,
Every-
everything's fine.
Okay. Review the impact of fiscal and monetary policy on organizations and their activities. So, what is fiscal policy? You might heard very common. The use of government spending and taxation as means to exert influence over the economy is referred to as fiscal policy. So, in simple word, it is estimation that measures the extent to which the government spending and taxes have an effect on the economy. So the result is that government either reduces taxes or increase expenditures, or it does both of these things. So the primary objectives to invigorate the economy and guarantee that the buying power of consumer does not encounter any decline. The term fiscal policy refers to the processes by which government modifies its spending levels and tax rates in order to effectively monitor and exert control over the economy of a nation. So, the employment of government spending, taxation, and transfer payment as weapons to affect aggregate demand is what we mean when we talk about fiscal policy. The three instruments that are including in the toolbox of fiscal policy, uh, you know, uh, the purpose of fiscal policy, uh, the in the period of if stimulate economic growth in a period of recession. In the period of recession, it is imperative to stimulate economic growth. So to maintain a low level of inflation, the government of United Kingdom has set a target of 2%. Uh, so the objective of fiscal policy is to stabilize economic growth, so preventing a cycle of economic boom and bust. So both monetary policy and fiscal policies are frequently employed in, concert with one another. As a matter of fact, government frequently favor monetary policy when it comes to stabilizing the economy. Then expansionary or loose fiscal policy that is expansionary, often known as loose, or you can say simply loose fiscal policy. The process include the enhancement to the aggregate demand. Because of this, government will raise expenditures while stimultaneously lowering taxes. A decrease in taxes will lead to an increase in consumer spending. So, since they have a greater amount of discretionary money, because of this, the deficit in the government's budget will likely become much more severe, and the government will be forced to, raise its borrowing. uh, deflationary or tight fiscal policy. Deflationary fiscal policy, or also known as tight policy, is characterized by a decrease in total demand. As a result, the government will reduce government spending as well as raise the tax rate. Consumer expenditure will decrease as a result of uh, higher taxes. Then the implementation of stringent fiscal policy will typically results in an improvement in the deficit of government's budget. Okay, 1 year.
Yeah, everything's fine. I have no questions.
Okay, are you okay? Your screen is working good and voice not boring yet?
No, I'm not bored at all. I mean, you just covered the purpose of fiscal policy and mentioning the actual purpose of it to stimulate the economy in times of recession and the set rate of 2% by UK. You just covered the current situation that we have, that UK is officially in recession, and that
Yeah,
is defined by the set rate of 2%. So yeah, I'm not bored at all.
you're a very good learner then. So Uh, the reason is most some people, that when we talk about economic and some of the finance related subject, people think it's a boring kind of subjects and they can't sit for long. So
Not at all. I mean, I'm not an expert, but it's all related. I mean,
yes,
finance,
it is.
economy, it's all connected, also related to politics more than we want. But yeah, so it's the
Yeah.
real world.
Okay, so government spending, the expenditures of the government encompass the acquisition of various commodities and services, such as the acquisition of, what we call a fleet of new automobiles for government officials, or missiles for the purpose of national defense, considering that it has ability to either increase or decrease real GDP. Government expenditure is a weapon that is used in fiscal policy, adjusting the amount of money that the government spends, allow it to have an effect on the production of the economy. Taxes are a tool for fiscal policy because changes in taxes have an effect on the income of the average consumer, and changes in consumption lead to changes in real GDP. Therefore, the government has the ability to influence economic productions by modifying taxes. Taxes are subject to a variety of alternation options. To begin, marginal tax rates are subject to either an increase or a decrease. So in the second place, they can be completely removed from existence, or the tax regulations can be altered. Transfer payments encompass a wide range of benefits, uh, uh, such as national insurance, welfare, and unemployment checks. So these checks are distributed across the nation or a monthly basis and serve as a source of income for tens of millions of consumers. Changes in transfer payments lead to changes in consumer income, and when consumers spend more of their income, this increase economic output. So, transfer payments are fiscal policy tools in the same way that the taxes are. This is because differences in transfer payments lead to variations in consumer income. With the being said, there are the three primary instruments that the government use in order to provide assistance to the economy in the near term. What is monetary policy? Uh, Implementation of monetary policy comprise the utilization of interest rates and modification to money supply in order to accomplish the economic goals that are pertinent. So monetary policy basically involves the use of interest rates and changes to the money supply to achieve relevant economic objectives. Bank of England has been in charge of monetary policy. So you know what is the main difference between monetary policy and fiscal policy? Vanya, just in couple of lines.
Just can't think of anything specific right now.
No, I mean that do you know that who set the monetary policy and who is responsible for fiscal policy? That's all I want to ask.
Well, uh, the fiscal policy is set by the government in the country. I mean,
Yes, fiscal policy you're talking about.
yes,
Yes,
and
that's
the
correct.
monetary is it set by the national banks of the same country?
Yeah, it's a Bank of England. Okay, that's correct. Yes, that's correct. Spot on. So basically, it is the responsibility of the Monetary Committee of the Bank of England to formulate and implement monetary policy in the United Kingdom. Four of the members of the Monetary Policy Committee are appointed by the Chancellor. The monetary policy has a total of nine members. The monetary policy has one objective, and that is to achieve its inflation target of 2% or whatever, that 3 or 4% or 1%, whatever is, inflation target. Aim of monetary policy, low inflation. Here he's talking about low inflation. UK target is 2% plus or minus. So low inflation uh, goal for the United Kingdom is 2% plus or minus one. So when it comes to supporting larger level of investment over the long term, low inflation is taken into consideration as a significant aspect. Economic growth that is consistent. So the policy of the monetary system is also concerned with ensuring that the rates of economic growth is sustainable and that unemployment remains at a low levels. How monetary policy works? Monetary policy committee of the Bank of England is responsible for determining the monetary policy of the United Kingdom. They have the ability to independently determine in interest rates. They are obliged to strive to meet the inflation target established by the government. The base rate is predetermined minded by the Bank of England. In the United Kingdom, commercial banks borrow money from the central bank, which is Bank of England. So changing the base rate has the potential to affect all existing interest rates in the economy, including but not limited to saving rates, mortgages rates, and lending rates. So United Kingdom, Versity Online, how the, uh, you know, the United Bank of England said the best, how the MPC Monetary Policy Committee determines interest rates. a study is conducted by the Bank of England to examine the tendencies of inflation in the economy, taking into consideration a wide range of economy variable, including but not limited to unemployment, consumer confidence, spare capacity in economy, exchange rate index, property prices, and economy growth. So, is how this is accomplished. So, Monetary Policy Committee set interest rates uh, during the credit crisis, or known as recession, or credit crunch. In 2008 and 19, the Bank of England utilized quantitative easing as a component of its monetary policy. This is the creation of money by electronic means in order to purchase assets obtained from banks, such as government bonds, by purchasing uh, by purchasing illiquid assets. It is believed that there would be an increase in the money supply, which will ultimately prevent deflationary forces from occurring. Again, loose monitoring, policy in the event that the Bank of England forecasts that inflation will fall below the government's objective of 2% and economic growth is slower than expected, or if the economy is on the verge of entering a recession, it is expected that they will reduce the interest rate according to the hypothesis. Reduction in interest rates ought to increase economic activity. Uh, tight, other here, tight monetary policy. Uh, as that we discussed previously, what is tight monetary? In if the Bank of England perceives that the economy is expanding at an excessively rapid pace, and that inflation is anticipated to surpass the government's aim, it is important possible that they would raise interest rates in order to decrease the rate of economic expansion and elevate inflationary pressure. So, in this scenario, an increase in interest rates leads to a decreased consumer spending as well as investment, which ultimately result in a reduction in inflation, or lower inflation. So here many challenging challenges facing by Bank of England: controlling price inflation and keeping inflation expectations low, supporting a sustainable, durable economic recovery, rebalancing the economy towards exports and investment, and then financial stability, building a more secure banking system. Transmission mechanism of monetary policy: change, market interest rate, impact of on demand, effect on outputs, jobs or investment, and then real GDP and price inflation. So normally a change in policy interest rates feeds through to borrowing or saving rates, effect on spending, saving, investments, and exports, and in this an expansion of production and employment, and then GDP, real GDP, and price inflation rate changes then affect two of the key macro objectives. When interest rates falls, uh, basically monetary policy that is either expansionary or reflationary is one that either decreases interest rates or increases the amount of money and credit that is available. So as a result of the decrease cost of servicing loans and debts, the ability to spend in is increased. The confidence of consumer ought to rise, which will result in more spending. limits to the effect of a cut in normal interest rates. Commercial banks, low business consumer, falling real income for savers, high stock of personal debts, or some interest rates have actually risen. So commercial banks are unwilling or unable to lend money. So uncertainty among both customers and businesses, actual earnings for savers, declined rates of interest have actually increased in some cases a substantial amount of personal debt. Interest rates and the distribution of income. When increased rates go down, when interest rates increases or go down, there is a shift in the distribution of income away from lenders and savers and towards borrowers how have loans or debts. Income of savers, those who save money will suffer a decrease in their real wages if the interest they earn on their saving is lower than the rates of inflation. Income of homeowners with the mortgage. Homeowners who have mortgages with variable interest rates will see a boost in their income if interest rates continue to decline. So interest rates on unsecured debts, there will be a decrease in the interest rates that are on loans such as bank loans and credit card loans. Quantitative easing, uh, when policy interest rates at zero or very near to zero, there is a limit to what traditional use of monetary policy can accomplish. The Bank of England initiated qualitative easing for the very first time of March of 2009. So one of the primary goals of quantitative easing is to strengthening aggregate demand and prevent a recession from reclating into a uh, deflationary depression in order to boost the amount of to money that is available system and to encourage bank to lend at lower interest rates. The Bank of England utilized quantitative easing. This is especially beneficial for lending to small and medium-sized enterprises. Uh, instead of printing fresh notes of 10 pound, 20 pound and 50 pound, the Bank of England utilized the money that is generated by the central bank to purchase bonds issued by the government in light of the fact that bank lending has been finding it difficult to rebound since the end of the recession. There are concerns over the efficiency of quantitative easing strategies. There was a total of 375 billion uh, pounds in the QE program at the end of 2013. Some changes that were done to UK monetary policy in between 2008 and 2004. QE 2009 buying bonds to increase deposit and lending by the banking industry. Project Merlin 2011, basically agreement between banks and the government to expand lending to small and medium sized businesses was made in 2011 under the Project Merlin initiative. So, funding for lending schemes in 2012, the Treasury and the Bank of England jointly, collaborated on a program called the funding or for lending scheme, which offers bank more affordable borrowing in exchange for increasing the amount of money they lend to consumers and companies. Then finally, forward policy or forward, guidance. Uh, the policy rates will continue to be set 0.5% at least until the unemployment rate drops to 7% or until there are clear indications that the amount of spare capacity in the economy has reached normal levels respectively. Then evaluate the impact of competition policy on the activities of specific contrasting organizations. Everything is okay, Vanya? Can you hear me?
Yes, yes, everything's fine. I'm listening.
Okay. The main aims of competition policies are to promote competition, make markets work better. So basically, the objectives of competition strategy that are aimed at promoting competitions, improve the functioning of market, and make a contribution in order to achieve more efficiency in particular marketplaces and towards increase competitiveness of enterprises in the United Kingdom. Inside the European Union market, that is a single entity competition policy aims to ensure competition policy is designed to guarantee that the technological breakthrough that fosters dynamic efficiency in the implementation of several distinct markets. Four key pillars of competition policy in the UK: antitrust and cartels. In the realm of antitrust and cartels, the eradication of agreement that restrict competition in a crucial aspects, competition that includes a price fixing and other forms of abuse committed by businesses that hold a market position that is of a dominating nature, defined as having a market shares that is more than 40% of the total. So then is liberalizations. In the context of market liberalizations, the introduction of competition is integral of the process. Areas that were once monopolistic, such as the supply of electricity, retail banking, postal services, telecommunications on mobile devices, air transportation, and other services. Then is talking about state and control. Competition policy examines various states' aid policies, including but not limited to ensuring that such measures do not affect the level of competition among airlines by providing subsidies. There is a rivalry inside the single, market. Merger control, basically for the purpose of merger control, the examination of mergers and takeovers is taken into consideration between companies. For example, a merger of two or more big corporations that would result in with regard to their monopoly on the market. Main role of the regulations. Uh, It's simply rule enforcers are known as regulators, and they are appointed by the government in order for the government to monitor the functioning of a market and the results that are obtained by both the producers and the consumers. The Competition and Market Authority, CMA, is the primary regulatory body in the United Kingdom. The Commission of the European Union is also and important body for the UK. Next is example of competition policy in action. Is it okay to carry on? You're not boring, Vanya. Are you okay?
Yeah, I'm absolutely fine with
Okay.
that. It's part
I'm
of the
just
it's part
asking
of the
because you know
module.
that today's lecture is a bit longer than normal. Lectures today's there are 60 slides. I'm just trying to finish today, and tomorrow we can finish with our assignment session.
That would be great.
So examples of competition policy in actions, deregulations refers to the implementation of legislation that aim to diminish the power of monopolies, restricting mergers and acquisitions that result in the formation of a monopoly, legislation that promotes the introduction of competition within the within the postal services industry. Uh, Example of forced sale of assets in the selling of assets, BA and airports in the UK, British Airways and airports in the privatizations, transferring ownership, privatization or transferring ownership, which refers to the change of ownership. Royal Mail stock market flotation is a significant event. A partial privatization of network rail, comparable to the sale of high speed ones, wherein the fast connection that links London to other cities, tunnels between St. Pancras and the channels on the basis of a long-term accord. So, tough laws or anti-competition, competitive behavior and reduction in import controls. So, the implementation of stringent legislation and punishments to combat instances of fixing or a form of collision that includes the sharing market companies that violate the competition regulations of the European Union and the United Kingdom face the possibility of incurring substantial penalties of up to 10% of the total worldwide turnover. Then reduction in import controls. One way to attract cheaper items from outside is to reduce the tariffs that are placed on imports. It is possible to achieve the same result by either increasing or removing import quotas, increasing the number of nations that are allowed to join the single market of the European Union. So discuss the challenges or organizational activities operating in two different economic environment. So you might heard about Ryanair airline has been chosen as the organization to complete this task. So there is a low-cost airline in Ireland called Ryanair. Additionally, the operational bases are located in London Stansted Airport and Dublin Airport, both of which are based in Ireland. So the headquarters is located at Dublin Airport. There are several airlines in Europe, but Ryanair is one of the largest full employment businesses that are doing well. An increase in the number of people spending money, increase in the number of services being supplied, increase in the number of jobs available, and increase in pricing and increase in earning. Higher incomes, a decrease in unemployment, and increase in consumer spending are hallmarks of a boom economy. So a boom is the opposite of a recession. In a boom, there is an increase in the amount of things that are created and consumed, as well as an increased in revenues. Recession, uh, the lower incomes, uh, a higher unemployment rates, and a decrease in consumer spending are the characteristics that mark an economy that is experiencing a recession. Recession, individuals involved in business become cautious more cautious. Customers reduce their spending and begin to save more. Manufacturers and sellers reduce their orders, produce fewer goods, and begin to reduce cost in general, including by laying off workers. They, with the influence of the boom, the firms will be things that did not functions during the previous recession, and the investments they have made will be more efficient. This will allow the corporation to make adjustments within the operations of the businesses. As a result of the company experiencing boom, the flying services they offer will be enhanced, and additional staff will be hired. This will be lead to an increase in productivity. This indicates that a greater quantity of items are being created. Impact of the recession. uh, One of the factors that contributed to the impact of the recession was ash cloud. So the ash cloud caused thousands of passengers to become a airport standard airport uh, uh, of passengers at airport, and Ryanair was obligated to supply them with food and shelters in order to fulfill their responsibility, in order to compensate those individuals who purchased ticket for plans, and uh, that passengers were unable to board. They are required to reimburse the money. So it has been over 4 months after the volcanic ash caused Ryanair to cancel flights, and the airline has been accused of not taking passengers and not paying for their expenses. So positive have taken an extra staff to deal with the complaints due to the volcanic ash incident. This will help the local economy because they can, provide short-term jobs for the local people. So also, they have started that it will proceed with an expansion throughout Europe. As a result of the failure of certain businesses, there will be an increase in the number of opportunities to acquire new clients. When there are more consumers, there are more earning, which means there is a more money available for investment. So in this way, Ryanair will be able to weather the economic downturn. As a result of the bankruptcy of certain airlines, Ryanair will have a reduced amount of competition in the market, which is a positive sign. This is just example of to cover task one. We will discuss tomorrow as well. Uh, Competition Act 1998 According to the Competition Act 1998, any agreement, business activity, or conduct that has the potential to have a detrimental impact on competition in the United Kingdom is prohibited. Among these are instances in which a firm abuses its dominant position by employing it in a manner that is detrimental to the competitors. Uh, then regulations, UK competition policy, regulation of competition policy in the United Kingdom is carried out by Competition and Market Authority. We previously discussed CMA. The Competition Act of 1998 is the basis for this, providing education to businesses in order to ensure they comply with the applicable competitions acts. Enterprises Act 2002, uh, Act 2000 Enterprise Act 2002 is a significant piece of legislation that plays a significant role in the enforcement of competition law and the crackdown of anti-competitive behavior that is carried out by corporations in United Kingdom. It is the responsibility of the Competition and Market Authority to ensure that the Enterprise Act of 2002 is adhered to throughout the United Kingdom. European Commission, which is the executive branch of the European Union, is European Union is accountable for the formulation of legislative proposals, the execution of decisions, the maintenance of EU treaties, and the management of the day-to-day operations regarding the European Union. The Commission is responsible for managing the budget of the European Union, as well as proposing new laws and policies for the EU, monitoring their implementations, contributions to the general strategy of the EU. So, in addition to this, it plays a vital part in distributing aid and making contributions to foreign development. Here is talking about the College of Commissioners from each of the 27 member countries that make up the European Union's commission. So during the course of a 5 years tenure, the political leadership of the commission is comprised of the 27 members of the college coming together. It is the president who is responsible for particular policy areas to them. Office of Fair Trading. Office of Fair Trading was a government department in the United Kingdom that was established by the Fair Trading Act 1973. Its primary function was to enforce both consumer protection and competition law, and it also served as the economic regulator for the United Kingdom. Next is DGC, or Director General Competitions. Director General for Competition, or DG Competition, is appointed by the European Commission with its headquarters situated in Brussels, Germany. It is the responsibility for the Director General for Competition to formulate and carry out the overall competition strategy for the United Union, the government agency responsible for regulating the gas and electricity markets in Great Britain is also known as OFGAM, or OFWAT, which stands for the Water Services Regulation Authority, is the organizations that is accountable for the economic regulations of privatized water and sewerage businesses in England and Wales through its regulatory framework. Then Civil Aviation Authority. The Civil Aviation Authority is statutory organization which oversee and controls all elements of civil aviation in the United Kingdom. Companies Act, very famous and very important part, of the whole chapter. The main aims of Company Acts are to modernize and simplify corporate law. So, an act that aims to reform company laws and restate the majority of the enactment that pertains to companies, to stipulate additional provisions that pertains to companies and other forms of businesses, organizations, to stipulate provisions on the disqualification of companies, directors, businesses, names. Also, that disqualification, business names, auditors, and actuaries. So that's it for today. There are some references, and if you want to go through that, you can go through one by one for further reading. Also, there are books available on your learning management system. Also, I believe that there is sample assignments and some other related, material is available on your website, which you can visit on your Moodle or learning management system. That's it for today, everyone. And Vanya, are you okay?
Yes, thank you very much for the lecture today.
No
Thank you.
problem, Vanya, no problem at all. So I hope you're not tired and not boring, because I know that it's the end of the week. So Saturday, most of people, do rest and some other works, but obviously uh, it's a bit quiet lecture. But tomorrow is assignment discussion, and same 2 o'clock. Any questions, any concerns, any issues, anything?
No, no questions so far. And also we have our final session tomorrow, so I will just think about the important aspects that maybe I'm not sure about, and I will address it tomorrow.
Yeah, no problem. Tomorrow is our assignment session. We will discuss assignment, and I will address your, issues tomorrow as well, whatever is in your mind. Okay.
Thank you very much.
So thank you very much. If you have any question, any issue, any concern, you can drop me an email at, that yasir@ukversity.co.uk. And
Thank
thank you
you.
very much, and have a good evening and lovely weekend. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Uh,
And see you tomorrow.
See you tomorrow, and bye for now.